How's it going? Welcome back to my channel. Excited you guys are here. I'm here to answer all your questions about guys, about girly things, about all the other things. Thanks for subscribing.
That brought Daniel back because the girl asked me, she said, hey, I'm going on a first date, I'm so nervous, do you have any tips? And I thought, how fun would it be if we made a first date tips video for girls and a first date video tips for guys? So I said, hey, you want to do it with me? He said, absolutely.
I'm all in.
Okay, so this one is for girls. Our best top first date tips for women. Zion's here too, he's hanging out, playing. Number one is so like cliche, but be yourself. I'll never forget last year when I was at one of my brother's baseball games and the girls behind me were chit-chatting about their boyfriends. And she said, yeah, Bryce and I have been dating for a couple months, but I haven't like been myself around him. And I thought, oh my gosh, how sad is that? I feel like you should be yourself on the first date.
Yeah, and also when you're on a first date, there's a lot of awkwardness in the air, there's a lot of tension maybe, you're a little nervous, and all that's great. And you can admit as well, obviously, that you're nervous. You can vocalize that, say, hey, I'm a little bit nervous, but just be real. Don't try to overly put on some persona that you're not.
It's also important to remember that like if you have quirks or you laugh, the right man for you will like all of those things.
Yeah, exactly. So that's again, if you try to hide some things maybe, and I'm not saying go overbearing or go full on, you know, slapping the table, you know, whatever, like go crazy, but just be yourself, be real, have fun.
Laugh
loud.
Have a great time. Yeah, laugh loud if you want. Number two, prepare thoughtful questions.
I think it's always fun when a girl has questions prepared as well. Not that you have to like whip up a list and say like, okay, let's go through
That would
these
be really
1 through
weird.
5. Like have fun questions and questions that are outside of the norm or just your standard. Like, okay, so what are you studying? Or how are your parents doing? Or you know, whatever, some general stuff. But fun questions,
Right.
you know, like
what's your favorite pair of shoes?
what's your favorite pair of shoes? Yes, see, that's, I don't know. I would think more like, when's the last time you laughed so loud or hard or long that you couldn't stop laughing? Or when's the last time you had to, when is the last time that you felt really embarrassed? See?
That's a good one.
That's a fun one, because then you kind of get to know someone. Obviously, you're not, you know, you're just doing fun things like that.
Totally.
Like, sometimes with dates, obviously, as well, things can get a little dry, the conversation
Yes.
get a little stale, so you just throw in some fresh ones, whipping out of your back pocket. Maybe not back pocket, but like right in the back of your brain, you know where they're at. And then you, you just dive into a new topic conversation,
Yes.
and you keep it fun and interesting. Number 3, tip number 3, job versus hobbies. What does that mean? Well, let me tell you. No. Whenever you ask a guy, oh, so what do you do? It's always associated to work. So basically a guy would get his validation to the kind of job or work that he does. What I always find interesting to do from my aspect when I would ask a lady, so what do you do? Is, and this is a tip obviously for you guys to do on your dates then, is to say, so what do you do? And then say, but I'm not referring to a work thing, what do you do? But what do you do outside of work? Because that's really what defines somebody. Because in general, what we do for work is obviously great as well. We want to share those things, and that obviously says something about us. But really what says more about an individual is what they do outside of work. And then after that you can do work, but emphasize that that's more important than the actual work part itself.
Right, like what do you do for fun, but also like what does your life look like? 4, this is mine, eat whatever you want. Like there's all these rules that women have, like teaching young girls, like, oh, eat like a, you know, like a tiny little bites of, you know, on a date.
Where do you read that from?
Like that's what people say to girls, is like, oh, don't eat something messy. I'm not saying order the ribs and be like licking your fingers. That's gross. Use your napkin if you order the ribs. But if you darn well feel like eating a sandwich or a pizza or whatever, eat that.
I agree. I think when I speak for all guys, we will order what we want.
That's so true.
So you should pretty
the
much
guy isn't gonna think like, what will like look like eating this
Yeah, I'm
food?
gonna pass up the steak to get the salad. No, I don't think so.
That's so true. So if guys are gonna order what they want, if this is a dinner date, that is, like if you're going to get food, and later Daniel's gonna tell guys to take women on activity dates. Spoiler. And if you want to, like if you're meeting at a restaurant, you know, Il Tremezino or whatever, look up the menu beforehand if you want to like feel like be better prepared.
Yeah. And then you're less uncomfortable because you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to pick. I can't make decisions. I'm indecisive. You're like, hey, actually, I know what I'm getting. I'm gonna get this.
That's true.
You know, and that comes off strong and self-willed and all those things as well.
That's very true. I never thought. It's confident to say like, yes, I'll have the pesto sandwich, not the waitress keeps coming back and you're like, I don't know.
Number 5, don't talk negatively about yourself. I guess from a guy's perspective, it's attractive if someone's confident about themselves. I think, you know, that really sets a tone as well and says like, wow, this woman has both feet on the ground and knows what she's doing, instead of someone that's starting off self-doubting herself. And again, there's a difference between being nervous and, not really coming out of your words or anything like that, which is obviously completely fine. But speaking negatively about yourself is simply off-putting. And so I would just avoid that in general in life, not just about first dates, but why would you be negative about yourself?
And that doesn't mean you're 100% like I'm confident about myself.
I know,
1000%. And I know that that's not what you mean, but I'm saying like even if you feel like, maybe kind of crummy about yourself that day, don't be on the date saying like, oh, well, it's me, I'm not good at anything.
Yeah,
I don't like anything.
Don't blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, I'm here to have fun.
Right.
And so let's
be
let's
positive. This is another one for the guys. From the guys.
Number 6.
These are all from Daniel. These are the ones he wants you guys to know, which is good.
Yeah, number 6. From a guy's perspective, obviously, again, don't wear too much makeup. Obviously, make yourself beautiful however you feel that you need to do that, and put on makeup, and all those things are great. But
and you guys know that I wear makeup, and you like what I do.
Exactly, it's great, and you look great. But don't go over the top on the makeup train. Don't ride it to town and back, and all over, everywhere. And then you end up, wearing too much makeup, and then it just simply is off-putting because it kind of hides who you truly are.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you want the guy to love you and see you for you, and if you are just trying to cover and plaster up and whatever women do these days, it's like, all right, slow down, girl, and just let me see you for you. And with that being said, so this is obviously not just me, but what I hear through the grapevine.
Right.
Again, it's not about wearing makeup or not wearing makeup. It's about not wearing too much makeup.
Right, and being natural and being yourself.
Yeah, and just love yourself for who you are. All right, next one. Keep it rolling.
This is number 7. This comes to the paying situation, which everybody has a different opinion on. But I think it's good to at least offer to help pay.
Yeah, and I agree with that from a guy's perspective as well. Obviously, the guy, again, this is my perspective though, he would end up paying or offering to pay, or
especially if he asks you on the date.
Yeah, if he asks you on a date, he's the one that's kind of leading it, and so he will generally pay for it, as I would assume that you guys experience on your own dates as well. But don't, even though you will assume it, don't make that too obvious in a sense, because from a guy's perspective, it's nice that and you're making a sacrifice in a sense as well by paying for that, which is great because you want to do that. But it's good when a girl shows some appreciation for that, in the sense that she would even offer to help pay herself, or just says, oh my gosh, that's so thankful. I'm so. That's great, thankful, good, awesome, and that's the end of that. Obviously, that doesn't carry on to anything else. Because what I hear again from my other guy friends is that they're going on like 3-4 dates with women, and they pay like $70-$80 on these dinners all the time, and the girl's just like, when the check comes, she's just like, okay, she, not that she like moves it over the table, but it's like, okay, well, I'll just keep paying for it, and I'm fine with doing that, but it would be nice if I, at least see some appreciation for that. So maybe you already do all that, and you're totally great.
Right, and this is like, you could totally disagree on this. Everybody has their own
and that's what I'm saying. And there's some girls that say, oh my gosh, no, I'd rather just pay myself.
Right,
but
they
totally
would rather
great as well.
Go Dutch.
Exactly, go Dutch, just split it right through the middle. 50-50, that's so
Why
good.
is that a phrase? Go Dutch?
I guess.
So go Dutch means you half it. Halves the
exactly,
opposite.
you go like 50-50, like exactly, this is what you ate, so this is what you paid for, this is what I did, so that's what I paid for.
Why is that a phrase?
That is a phrase because I guess back in the day, people perceived the Dutch to be...
cheap.
I don't want to say cheap, baby. They're just smart with money.
Okay,
anyway,
we'll go with that.
So you can do that if you want as well. And if you don't feel comfortable, just like be, again, that goes back to the confident thing.
Yeah.
Say, hey, no, I'm not. Here's the money. And just before you go on a date, already have that cash ready, or some cash ready in your wallet. And you just put the cash right there and say, hey, please take this. And then if he's smart, you say, you know what, I'm going to still keep paying for this first date, but we can use this for a second date.
Ooh,
Wink.
good tip.
No,
for
but anyway.
men watching. And it's important to do what you feel comfortable with, because I think it goes into like the area of, a girl thinks if a guy, pays for the whole thing, then he's going to expect something from her.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Whether that's a kiss, whether that's sex, whatever that might be, that a guy would expect something, and some girls want to pay half, so that's not even on the table.
Yeah.
So, that's a whole nother conversation. But do what you feel comfortable with. Daniel paid for a lot of stuff early on. Because he wanted to.
When Emily and I started dating, it was about 2013 or so.
Almost 6 years ago.
Emily was already working a full-time job back then. I was still in school, and so I was not nearly,
I had like a steady income. I had my salary.
I did
knew
not.
what I was
worked
making.
outside of school, of course, and did a little, side jobs here and there.
Yeah.
If I knew that Emily was coming, because obviously we were doing long
trips.
distance, like a month and a half, I would obviously intentionally save up money that I knew I would have money that I could take her on dates with, and that meant as well giving up certain things, not spending money here or there really intentionally saving money so that I could take you around and, you know, just have a good time and not have to worry about that when you were around.
He said, I was like, as a man, I really want to pay. And I knew that he was sacrificing to be able to do things. And that really meant a lot to me. It was really sweet.
Worked out well.
Thanks, babe.
All right, next one.
This is my advice for you guys. If you're pursuing virtuous relationships, I think it's important to end the date at the date. Sometimes you're having so much fun. You go to, you know, an activity and then you go to dinner and then you want to keep hanging out, or the guy's like, hey, do you want to come back to my house? I think on a first date, you end the date at the date.
I think it's good to have just a structure where you know where the date's going to start, but you also already know beforehand where the date's going to end.
Yes.
And that kind of gives you, because sometimes you, like Emily said, you're having so much fun, you kind of get carried away in it. But it'll be good to just end that, especially the first date, at the date, and then you can kind of just go back home, kind of evaluate how it went. Oh, it was great. And that obviously sets up the, you know, if it was great, then you're like, oh my God, I'm so excited to
Right, it leaves more conversations to be desired, you know, more fun to be desired, rather than spending like 7 hours together.
Yeah, exactly. So just kind of find a good, healthy balance in that.
I just don't think...
And then it doesn't go like, you know, awkward long goodbyes, because there's no goodbye and you just keep hanging out and trying to find things to do even though you're having fun. But it's just like, you just, you know, it just keeps going. So just be like, okay, that's great. You know, thanks so much, blah, blah, blah.
Thanks so much.
Start making out. I'm kidding now.
You end the date at the date. Because you can always go on more dates and have more fun.
There's plenty more dates to be had.
Date 7, date 8, date 120.
And then you're married.
How many dates do you think we've been on?
What, in a lifetime?
Yeah.
I don't know. Plenty. Plenty.
Lots. Yes.
That's all for today.
Good, you know my tagline.
Exactly.
Those are 8 tips.
For the girls, but there's a video coming for the guys where we get real good inside scoop.
Oh yeah. Send it to your guy friends. I know you're gonna want to watch it. First dates are awkward. Thank God we'll never have to go on.
But they're so
again.
fun. But they're so
fun.
fun. They're so fun because there's that awkward, you know, atmosphere.
Yes,
in the
you're
air.
like, ee!
Yeah, and so just like enjoy that as well, you know, because now, you know, we obviously still have so much fun. What?
Just kidding. We do have so much fun. It's true.
That's what I'm saying. And so, but that like first date chemistry, that like that awkward thing, that's obviously, it's so different now, which is,
and it's, you know, really exciting.
Great. Revel in the awkwardness. Bathe in the awkwardness. No, I'm kidding. No,
marinate like a chicken in it.
Have
which,
fun with
if you read Go Bravely, you know that I say that. Marinate like a chicken in the first date awkwardness.
All right, that's all. Oh, you just headbutted me, baby.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. All right, that's all for this video.
You say, I'll talk to you soon. You have to say it like in a high note.
I don't know about that. Thanks for watching.
I was going to say thanks for watching, but thank you for watching. We will talk to you soon. Subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for the video for guys.
See ya.